The Congregation of the Priests of the Sacred Heart of Jesus was founded by Venerable Father Leo John Dehaene in 1878 in France.
Today the congregation has more than 2,100 members and is present in 45 countries around the world.
The congregation is governed by the General Superior in Rome and his 5 counselors representing different continents: Europe, North and South America, Africa and Asia.
We use the initials SCJ after our names. SCJ comes from the Latin phrase Sacerdotes Cords Jesu. A literal translation would be the priests of the heart of Jesus. In the Philippines and North America, we often refer to ourselves as the SCJs. In much in the rest of the world, we are known as Dehaenians.
The SCJ presence in the Philippines started on May 17, 1989 with the arrival of 8 missionaries.
We are an international community composed of 44 religious. At the moment, we are 30 priests, 1 religious brother, 2 deacons, and 11 members on temporary vows. We come from 6 different countries, 31 from the Philippines, 5 from Indonesia, 4 from Poland, 2 from Brazil, 1 from Argentina and 1 from India. 18 priests are Filipino. Our honorary member is Bishop Vilsam Basso, who once was a missionary in the Philippines and now serves in Brazil. 2 of our Filipino priests work as missionaries in Finland, providing spiritual care to the Filipinos there.
As of now, we run 3 formation houses and 8 parishes in different parts of the Philippines, in Mindanao, Southern Leyte, and Metro Manila.
Sacred Heart Formation House located in Aluba, Cagayan de Oro City comprises of 3 different levels of formation: orientation year, aspirancy and postulancy. In addition, this is the place where the regional superior and secretary live and the fundraising office is located.
In Cagayan de Oro, the candidates for priesthood and religious life start their journey. High school and college graduates referred by the vocation director normally undergo 1 year of orientation and preparation for the exams at the Xavier University. After that, they study philosophy for 2 or 4 years.
The next step is postulancy, 1 year of human and spiritual formation before going to the novitiate.
At the moment we have 22 aspirants, 9 Filipino and 13 from Vietnam.
We have also 12 postulants, 4 Filipino and 8 Vietnamese. Our wish is to serve God and the Filipino people, to be prophets of love and servants of reconciliation, to build and promote the values of the kingdom of love through the following:
a spirit of openness and dialogue with the Philippine reality and the needs of the time.
A life of solidarity with the poor and suffering, supporting all that promotes human dignity, justice, and reconciliation.
Active integration with and service to the local church, journeying together with the lay, the religious, and the clergy.
A centering of our lives in prayer and adoration of the Eucharist. Simplicity of lifestyle enriched by the spirit of sharing, having a common fund, with equal access. Promotion of the growth of the congregation in the Philippines.
The next step of our SCJ formation is novitiate, a 14-month learning about the congregation, the founder and preparation for the profession of first vows, chastity, obedience, and poverty.
It is a time of solitude and prayer.
Our novitiate is located in a beautiful place in Zamboanga del Sur, in Lcuban, Dumalina.
The culmination of the novitiate is profession of vows, which is held on June 28th, the anniversary of the foundation of our congregation.
At the moment we have 12 novices, 6 Filipino and 6 Vietnamese. The young religious after their first profession of vows moved to Dehan House in Manila to study theology.
The length of studies depends on the school of theology and is 3 to 4 years.
Our students study at the Loyola School of Theology LST or Recoletos School of Theology RST.
Those who take 4-year course, after the second year go for 1-year exposure in one of our communities. Those who take 3-year course after completion of their studies.
During the second year the scholastics are admitted to the ministry of lector, and during the third year to the ministry of acolyte.
After completion of studies and community exposure, the young religious on temporary vows profess their final vows and are ordained deacons. For their pastoral exposure, the deacons are assigned in one of the SCJ parishes for a period of 1 year.
The ordination to the priesthood normally takes place in one of our parishes or in the place of origin of the deacon. Up to now, the ordinations to the deaconate were held mostly in Mindanao, and to the priesthood in San Lorenzo Ruiz Parish in Quezon City, just across the road where the SCJ Theologate is located.
Since July 1, 2016, the San Lorenzo Ruiz Parish is being served by the priests of the Sacred Heart. Dehan House is also a place where the SCJs from different entities stay during their postgraduate studies in Manila.
Comalarang is one of the 3 parishes where the SCJs started their ministry. The decision to start a new foundation in the Philippines and the choice of Mindanao was a matter of preference and was very well thought out and reflected upon.
When the first group of SCJs came to the Philippines, the late Cardinal Jaime Sin asked them, for security reasons, to stay in Manila. He invited them to help in the Archdiocese of Manila, to work and to do mission in its member parishes. Instead, the community chose to go down to the south of the Philippines, to Mindanao, a more dangerous and more challenging place for the group to begin the mission. Mindanao meant for the group as a preferential option for the poor. A place where the SCJs are more needed. It is a wide and vast area with many uncharted territories and therefore a rich source for mission and apostolic work. The mission areas include far-flung and mountainous villages in Zamboanga del Sur. Social projects were extended not only to Christian communities but also to the members of Muslim tribes whenever there is a call for help. The missionaries had to travel on foot in going to the various chapels situated in the outskirts of Zamboanga del Sur. They had to walk a stretch of rough terrain passing through a mud-covered road, or even trek rivers. They had to contend with the bare essentials in home life, living a very simple existence in a rural setting.
The first group was composed of 8 priests coming from 7 different countries, members of 5 SCJ provinces, with age ranging from 28 to 52.
Father Reno Venturini in Italian, Father Juan Domingo Griffini and Father Eduardo Aguero from Argentina, Father Stephen Schmitz from Germany, Father Franciszek Putkowski from Poland, Father Johannes Sono Pribadian Indonesian and Father Hans Sondermeyer Dutch, both from the Indonesian province, and Father Jeremiah Sheehy from the British Irish province.
The settings of the first assignments were very simple and often challenging. For a long time they had no TV set, refrigerator or telephone. The roads were rough, dusty, and very often impassable during the rainy season.
From the beginning, the first missionaries outlined the following principles of the SCJ Philippines mission.
We give the highest priority to the community life. We reaffirm that community life is a mission itself.
We go to the Philippines to serve the local church, as communities, according to the missionary spirit of our own rule of life.
We will try to stay together and to live together, avoiding situations where a member has to live permanently alone.
We intend to form communities of at least 3 members.
We are going to share life, responsibilities, pastoral work, projects, and money.
We are going to meet once a month as a whole group for at least 1 day. We are going to meet once a year for an assembly and on a different date for a retreat.
Once a week those who live nearby are invited to come together.
There will be a common purse. There will be neither private funds nor projects. All decisions will be taken together.
From the simple beginnings, starting with 3 parishes, the SCJ Philippine Mission developed into a body recognized by the local church and the SCJ congregation.
On May 31, 1999, with the first profession of vows of the 2 first Filipinos, the Philippine Mission became a district.
On February 24, 2004, we had first ordination of a Filipino to the priesthood.
On September 29, 2006, we had a blessing of the new theologate in Manila.
On May 13, 2007, blessing of the new novitiate in Lukban.
On March 14, 2012, the SCJ Philippine District was elevated to the rank of region.
In the year 2016, we have been entrusted with 3 new parishes.
At the present, the priests of the Sacred Heart are doing their pastoral ministry in 8 different parishes, 2 in Zamboanga del Sur, 2 in Misamis Oriental, 4 in Metro Manila and 1 in Southern Leyte. In each of them there is a certain number of lay leaders, ministers of the Eucharist, catechists, and leaders of basic ecclesial communities, BEC. This number depends on the size of the parish. In Dumalino, for example, there are 86 chapels and each chapel has several lay cooperators. Taking into account their poor preparation, we provide with the needed formation by organizing seminars, recollections, regular meetings, etc. We are present in 6 dioceses: Pagadian, Ipil, Cagayan de Oro, Masin, Novaliches and Antipolo.
Our plan is to build the center of spirituality in Lukban, where our novitiate is located, and administration house in Parañaque, Metro Manila.
Following the example of our founder, Father Leo John Dehan, the priests of the Sacred Heart in the Philippines were able to bring the love of Christ to the people and places that society neglects, the people and places in greatest need of His healing touch and compassionate care.
Since the beginning of our presence in the Philippines, we have been involved in different social projects favoring the poor, the sick, and the oppressed, giving priority to youth and lay leaders, indigenous people, and victims of abuse and social injustice. Among our many involvements, we were able to help
the fishermen in Dimataling to buy fishing nets for their livelihood,
the farmers in Kumalarang to form a cooperative,
the poor but deserving students to finish their education by granting them scholarships,
the sick people to buy the needed medicines by setting up a special fund,
the sufferers of Typhoon Sendong to have a home by building new houses,
the survivors of Typhoon Yolanda to rebuild their devastated houses by providing them with needed materials.
Father Dehan frequently reminded his companions that the congregation was not founded to do one specific type of ministry. Rather, his dream was to bring the love of Christ to those people and places in society that were most neglected and abandoned, those which were in the greatest need of feeling the healing touch of his compassionate care. That remains the common ideal that unites the members of the congregation in the great diversity of their works.
When Father Leo Dehan first dreamed of giving himself completely to God as a priest, he had also felt a simultaneous urge to reach out to others so that they too might come to know the great love of God in their lives. This twin desire would remain the constant motivation in all that he would do and say, love of God and love of God's people.
The SCJ spirituality is being shared by the members of the Dehonian youth and lay Dehonians who actively take part and support our activities.
The main activity of the youth is the Dehonian Youth Summer Mission.
Young lads and lasses accompanied by a priest and nuns would go to the countryside for one or more than a week, living and sharing the life of the people, teaching catechesis, helping the communities to deepen their faith.
The purpose of this is to give to the young people more solid Christian formation, and at the same time to let them see the conditions in which many people are living.
The Lay Dehonians group is composed of young professionals. Members of this group, besides their meetings, recollections and celebrations together with the SCJs, have a regular community outreach programs to the different pastoral areas of the priests of the Sacred Heart.
The outreach programs are conducted to increase awareness on health, nutrition and hygiene, responsible parenthood values, education, adult formation, and moral issues.
One of the major projects worthy to be mentioned is the Kasanag Daughters Foundation. The aim of this social program, started in 1999 by one of our members, is to offer to the sexually abused girls the possibility of the healing process and to find the way back to the society. At the moment, the Kasanag Foundation is a home to 24 girls, aged 7 to 16 years.
During their stay at the Foundation's residential facilities, the girls are provided with holistic and integral healing and rehabilitation, specifically professional assistance of psychologists through intensive counseling, educational scholarship, values formation, legal assistance, and skills training, with the intention of giving these girls a chance to start a new life.
The essence of the entire program is to empower the girls and prepare them to live productive and wholesome lives when it's time for them to leave the institution.
In the pastoral area in Dansalihan Chaplaincy in Mambuwaya, Cagayan de Oro City, we run a boarding house for the Higanan students who come from the very poor and remote villages, helping them to finish their high school. At the moment there are 40 students, whom we provide not only with the shelter, but also with the food and all school-related expenses.
Father Dehan's way of proceeding is deceptively simple. He begins with the fundamental fact of our faith: God loves each one of us. However, many people today, and in Father Dehan's time, seem to ignore God's love. The founder was convinced that this lack of response was the root cause of all sin and unhappiness. To counteract this trend, especially among the working class, Leo Dehaene thought that there was a way to help people understand how much God loves and cares for them.
For him, this symbol of the human heart of Christ could serve as a means to lead people to this greater understanding of divine love. As people experienced Christ's love, they would be better motivated to practice personal prayer and to rediscover the powerful presence of Christ in the Eucharist.
In Father Dehaene's time, the working class was becoming more and more alienated from God and the Church. Low wages, long hours, and terrible working conditions made the workers feel abandoned, abused and angry. Father Dehaene felt the Church needed to respond to this injustice. This concern for those suffering from poverty and injustice has been carried on through the congregation Father Dehaene established, the Priests of the Sacred Heart. In Father Dehaene's vision, the love God has for us demands a similar response from us. He chose to express through Sacred Heart spirituality a strong devoted love for Christ and a life lived in solidarity with the poor and neglected.
As disciples of Father Dehaene, we the priests of the Sacred Heart strive to carry on his vision in today's world.
Our authentic service to the Church is based on a life of prayer and oblation. It is expressed through our ministry to workers, the lowly and the poor, our missionary activity, and our efforts in priestly and religious formation. According to the signs of the times and in communion with the life of the Church, we want to contribute to establishing the reign of justice and Christian charity in the world. We join our efforts to those of Jesus, that the human family sanctified in the Holy Spirit, might become an offering pleasing to God.
Besides the pastoral and social activities in Mindanao, Visayas, and Metro Manila, the priests of the Sacred Heart became known in the entire Philippines by spreading the devotion to the Sacred Heart and message of Father Dehaene through direct mailing.
Beautifully designed personalized letters and tokens are to remind us of God's love and the importance of sharing His blessings with those who are in need. The donations, received in this way, help to support our social projects and formation of future priests and religious that will carry on the mission of spreading the good news in the Philippines and in the world.
Sacred Heart, O love divine, do keep us near to Thee, and make our love so like to Thine, that we may wholly be. Heart of Jesus, hear, O heart of love divine, listen to our prayer, make us always Thine. O temple pure, O house of gold, our heaven here below. What sweet delight, what wealth untold, from Thee to ever flow. Heart of Jesus, unto our